Well, hello. The enemy doesn't want me to share this. I tell you what, it has been quite the afternoon, and then Facebook Live wasn't working, and I couldn't get all sorts of things working. So, anyways, hi, I'm Lori West. Well, you should know that. I'm on Facebook Live. I don't know who is on, but I wanted to share some things today. I've had several people that I've been talking to over the last several days who've reached out to me in regards to various relationships. And for anyone who knows me, they know that I absolutely love and adore relationships. I love learning about healthy relationships. I love having healthy relationships. And I'm going to probably turn off some of these comments just so I don't get distracted right now, but please feel free to make comments if you want to. But I wanted to come in and try not to keep this too long, even though I feel like what God has been showing me and what he's been doing over the years really probably could turn into a series, an 8-week series, 10 weeks. I don't know. God is doing a lot. So watch out for a book in the future. So what I want to talk about today is healthy relationships and some of the common things that I see happen in relationships. I've sat down with a lot of moms over the years as a mentor mom and even just recently. And most of them come to me and say, help, like we're not doing so good, my husband does this, my husband does that, or guys come to me, my wife does this, my wife does that, and I can't make them do this, and we keep miscommunicating, and they're just frustrated, like I don't know what to do. And so I want to talk just a little bit about what to do. Number one that I always tell them is you only control you. That's it. You control you and they control them. So let's imagine that I wanted to go get a nice beach body. So what do I need to do? I need to eat right. I need to go to the gym. I need to work out. I need to work on me to get my beach body. Now let's say my best friend and we both wanted to have a beach body. Could I work out so that she could have a beach body? No. It doesn't work that way. Let's say I'm married and my husband wants a nice beach body as well too. Can I work out so that he has a nice beach body? No, he can work out to get a nice beach body, and then we can go to the beach together looking great, and everybody's going to be envious and jealous and saying, oh my gosh, how did you get that way? And then we can tell them it was a lot of hard work. And relationships are a lot of hard work. But here's the cool thing. When you work hard, you reap the rewards. What we sow is what we will reap. And so first of all, I want to challenge you that if you are the kind of person that says, you know what, my relationship isn't going so well. If you want to stay in a victim mentality and say, and it never will, and it's hopeless, and I don't even know what to do, I can't do anything. There's nothing I can do. Well, that's a lie from the pit of hell. You can do things. Now, it may not fix your spouse. It may not fix your best friend. It may not fix whoever you're in a relationship with and struggling with, but you can fix you. You can work on you. So it's not hopeless. So you need to, number one, counteract that lie and say it's not hopeless. Second part is you need to be willing to unlearn so that you can learn, because all of us come into life. We all grew up in different families, and we come into life. Imagine your brain as a computer, which it is. It's kind of like a computer. And as we're babies, and as we're toddlers, and as we're growing up, different programs are being installed, different apps are being installed, different ways of computing things are being installed based upon our experiences with our family. And so we now get in relationship with this wonderful person that we're going to love forever, and they start speaking to us, and it goes in our ear, and it goes into our brain, and our brain uses all the apps and all the programs and everything that we've learned, and it translates it into our brain, and we then interpret it a certain way. Okay? Now, do you think we've interpreted it exactly as they probably have said? Good chance we have probably not, because they have their own set of programs, their own set of apps, their own set of things within their brain that translate everything that you say as well as how they interpret their own life. So Dan Farrelly in his teaching on Brave Communication talks about how we have our own code books in our heads of how we think everybody should respond, what things mean. If I go, you might think, oh my gosh, Lori's bored and hates me, because that's what my Aunt Nancy used to do. Or I might just say, I just really was having a hard time breathing at that point in time. But we interpreted it wrong. I might text somebody and she doesn't text me back for 5 hours. And in my head, I'm starting to tell a story based upon my programs, my apps, my own experiences, and saying, oh my gosh, why did she text back? She must hate me. I know that she does. She always texts back, and I always text her back. I bet she's mad because I didn't even text her the other day. And now we're creating this big old story in our head of why she didn't text back, and now we're offended, we're blaming, and I'm going to talk about shame and blame here in just a second. And then we find out later that she was just at a movie, Or maybe she had to go have emergency surgery and she couldn't communicate. I had one guy that, we were texting for quite a while. We were supposed to go out and then he said, hey, I can't. My son is sick. And so can we do it tomorrow? And I said, sure. I texted him the next day, nothing. The next day, nothing. The next day, nothing. And I thought, oh man, did he just ghost me? But it seemed out of his character. 2 months later, long story, he finally got a hold of me and said, you're not going to believe it. And I know it sounds like I'm lying, but I lost my phone, lost all my contacts, had to get a new phone. My Match account was no longer active. And so I had no way to contact you, And so we can make up these stories about people and what's going on with them, but really it's based upon our own apps and our own programming and our code book of how we receive things. So what do we do about that? Well, we have to be willing to unlearn so that we can learn, and we have to be willing to put ourselves in the position of a learner and a student continuously with our spouse, with our girlfriend, with our boyfriend, with our sister, our brother, our mother, our neighbor, whoever we're encountering. Decide in your mind, I'm going to be a student and a learner instead of an expert of them. How many times have you encountered somebody, your friend, somebody, anybody, your husband, your wife, who has said, well, I know that you da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and I know you were thinking this, and I know you did this, and I know da-da-da. How are they the expert of what's going on in your head and what's going on in your heart? Now, they might have some outside perspective, just like I can't see the back of my head, so there might be big old fuzzies on it. And someone can tell me, hey, Lori, I don't think you realize, but you had some stuff on the back of your head. So we do have blind spots sometimes. But all that to say is be willing to be a learner and a student of a person instead of the expert. That's part one. Well, part one is you control you, they control them. Part two, be the learner, not the expert of the other person. Be willing to unlearn. That means removing apps that are no longer applicable, removing apps that didn't work, that were translating things terrible, and let's install new apps, new programs. And so we're not going to go into all that tonight. How do we do it? What does it look like? But I am going to give you a couple scenarios to show you. I love word analogies and pictures. Jesus loved to use parables and word analogies to get his point across. We are all very visual. There's a lot more meanings in pictures and word stories, and it helps us to be able to really identify and relate with certain things that we probably couldn't otherwise. So wives, if you really, really want your husband to be able to understand how you're feeling, sometimes feelings don't translate well in their apps and their programs. Using a word picture, an analogy, and Nathan even did it in the Bible with David, and he told this whole story about what happened with this guy, and he killed this, I think it was a lamb, and David got all upset. Oh my gosh, that guy needs to be taken out. And Nathan's like, yeah, that's you. He used a story to convey a message. So wives, if you want to, help your husbands to understand, and husbands, if you want to help your wives to understand, get good at word analogies and stories to express a point that is not threatening. So I want to give you a couple of stories. There's 3 of them that I want to tell, but I think I'm going to save the other one for another time just so this video doesn't go long. But I want to give you a description of what does a healthy relationship look like. I'm going to give you a description and a story about what is kind of a hurtful relationship look like, and you're gonna recognize this one. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, we all fall into this trap so easily. And then the third one is really, what does a harmful relationship look like? And that can be from the extreme alcoholic, abusive, narcissistic, sociopathic, to all the way the other end of the spectrum, where you have this godly, religious, church-going family that has some, even spiritual abuse and emotional abuse or other things that are harmful. And maybe you don't see it as abuse, but there's just harmful things that are causing disconnect, are causing harm, maybe some crazy making behavior and things like that. I think I'm going to save that story for another time. We're going to focus on these first 2 for now, or maybe even just this first one. We'll see what time allows. And so the first example, let me back up. What is our goal of any relationship? It's to be connected, right? I didn't get in relationship with you, and you didn't get in relationship with me for us to be like, okay, to be disconnected. But over time, we do kind of get that way in our marriage, don't we? We kind of drift apart. But our goal is connection, and we want a healthy connection. We don't want to just be connected in any way, shape, or form. If I've got barbed wire all over me, you don't really want to be connected closely to that, do you? We might hold pinky fingers, if I'm covered in barbed wire. If I'm covered in sores and you're covered in sores, no matter how lovingly we hug each other, it's going to hurt. And so our connection might look different until we work on getting those sores healed up. Does that make sense? So our goal is connection. And within within a relationship, we need that healthy connection. We need healthy communication. We need to be able to express hurts and needs and feelings and how my actions affect you and how your actions affect me, without dipping into shame and dipping into blame. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. And then the last part is those healthy boundaries, knowing what is you. So my body is mine. Your body is yours. My house is my house. Your house is your house. We can very, very clearly delineate boundaries in that regards. But sometimes we have a hard time emotionally and relationally knowing where I end and where you begin. And again, that's a much broader topic than we're going to talk about right now. But I want to dive into these scenarios. So imagine with me that you've got these two friends, Lisa and Chris, and they kind of like each other. Oh, and let me preface, just because if I use Chris as the bad person doesn't mean I'm saying the men are the bad ones, or if I use Lisa as the bad person, that the women are the bad ones. Get rid of that shame and that value attachment right now, okay? These are just two people. All right, don't hear what I'm not saying. So Lisa and Chris are great friends, and maybe they even kind of like each other. And Lisa's in her house. It's a safe place, safe environment. She's created it to be safe. And so she's walking around barefoot. Maybe she has some socks on, but it's a very comfortable place. She's open, she's vulnerable. She's like, hey, this is a safe environment. And she invites Chris over, who's been a safe person. He's awesome. She really digs Chris. So Chris comes on in after a big day of work, and he's got his big old boots on. Those big boots that have they're yellow, and I mean, you could drop hammers on them and nails on them. Nothing's going to get through. They keep your foot warm. You could walk on rocks and never feel the rocks. You could step on anything and really not feel it, maybe even hot lava, okay? They're tough work boots. They have served him well. They are great for a certain environment, a certain purpose. Now, are they great inside a house? Probably not super great. Is it wrong to wear them in the house? Not necessarily, unless Lisa had a rule of take your shoes off at the front door. But she didn't, because she trusts Chris, and Chris comes on in and they say, oh my gosh, Chris, Lisa, so good to see you. And as they lean in, Chris's big old boot lands on top of Lisa's. Now, what is she going to do? Anybody? She's going to go, ow! She's going to react. She's going to, like a little baby, ah! She's going to cry. She's going to scream. She might seem angry. And she's going to react and say, ouch, you're stepping on my foot. Now, if Chris is a healthy person who loves Lisa, what is he going to do? Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Oh my gosh, Lisa, is your foot okay? Here, let me back up. You sit down. I'm going to go get ice. Lisa's like, no, it's okay. Really. No, I know you didn't mean it. It's totally fine. I didn't mean it. It was such an accident. Man, I can be such a klutz sometimes. Here, you sit there. I'm going to go get ice. No, really, I'm fine. How about this? I'm going to take my boots off. Let me take my boots off here. I'm going to set them here because that is just not safe. And then this way, nobody's feet are going to get hurt. And maybe we can even play a little footsies. And so he has responded in a very healthy way. He didn't let shame speak to him of, oh my gosh, you're a terrible person, you're a horrible person. When she said, ouch, you're stepping on my foot. Did he? No. He looked down at his foot. He stopped. He looked at his foot. I'm going to talk about kind of stop, look, listen, looked at his foot, realized he did. He accidentally stepped on her foot. And he backed up, he adjusted himself, he made sure she was okay, and then he adjusted what he was going to do in the future so that it would be a safe environment for the two of them. Now, there are other options that could have happened there to create that safe environment. Lisa could have said, you know what, let me just go put my boots on. That way we can step all over each other's feet and it won't hurt. And that could be an option that they both agree on. Now, are boots really comfortable in the house? Are they comfortable in the bedroom? No. Is it really truly vulnerable and transparent to have these hard protective shell around you? Not really. Will it work for quite a while? Yeah, it'll probably work for quite a while. But that is a healthy response. He's stopping, he's looking, he's listening to what Lisa is saying. She's crying out, ouch, your action just had a consequence. It hurt my foot. And so he says, you're right, my action had a consequence. Your foot got hurt. Let me adjust so that I can create a healthy and safe place for you. Now, wouldn't that be wonderful if all our conversations with our wives and our husbands were that way? Wouldn't that be awesome? And unfortunately, they're not. But that is something that we can work towards. The second scenario is a hurtful scenario. It will cause some disconnect over time and maybe even initially. So Chris comes over to Lisa's house. Hey, Chris, hey, Lisa. And they grab each other and they hug. And again, Chris's foot steps on Lisa's foot. Ouch, you just stepped on my foot. Oh, that hurts really bad. So Chris stops. He looks. He's doing the right two things. And he pulls his foot back. He adjusts himself. And then he says, oh, did your foot get hurt? Oh, I'm sorry if your foot got hurt. You really should have boots on. Why don't you have boots on? What do you mean, why do I have boots on? I'm in my house. Why should I? This is my property. This is my safe space. Why should I have boots on? Well, because it would protect your feet. I mean, I wear boots. My feet never get hurt. So why is your foot hurt? If you wore boots, then your foot wouldn't have gotten hurt. Oh my gosh, Chris, I'm just telling you, you stepped on my foot. I know it was an accident. I'm not saying that you are a bad person or anything. Yes, you did. You basically said, ouch, you stepped on my foot and are blaming me for hurting your foot when I didn't really hurt your foot. And if I did something wrong, I totally would apologize, but I'm sorry. You should have shoes on. And Lisa starts going, oh my gosh, well, if you would have taken your boots off at the door, then we wouldn't even have this issue because then you would have had bare feet. I can handle your bare feet. Plus, did you even know that you left mud all over my carpet last month and I had to clean, I had to pay somebody to come and steam clean my carpet because you left mud on it. What is happening here? Do you guys recognize this scenario? We started with an action that had a consequence that created some pain and some hurt and potential disconnect. And instead of focusing on that, shame and blame jumped in. Shame started saying, you're a bad person, Chris. Chris started getting defensive, saying, no, I'm not. It's not my fault. He also has his own set of programs and apps in his head from his history. Maybe they always wore their shoes and his dad always made sure they wore their shoes in their house. So that is the logical sense. So in his mind, he's right. In Lisa's mind, she's right because in their house, they always took their shoes off so you didn't have to clean the carpet as often. So they're both right and they're both wrong. Right? So we're getting caught up in blame. It's you, it's you, it's you, it's you. We're both right, we're both wrong. We got shame talking to both of us. And then Lisa decides to throw in there as well, last week you did this and this and this, and this ruined my carpet and I had to bring in the steam cleaners. Now what is she doing? She's showing that she did not own her property last time and saying, hey, can you take your shoes off before you come in the house? And now she didn't confront him on it then to say, oh my gosh, you made the mess. Can you help clean up your mess? And now she's holding that old hurt and expectation over him that he probably didn't even know he had made a mess on the carpet. Does that make sense? So there's a whole bunch of different dynamics that we get ourselves into when we get ourselves stirred up with, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right. And now all of a sudden we've let shame and blame dictate us into a path towards rightness over relationship. And that will never work out well. And that will actually cause your marriage to continue or your relationship to continue to get further and further apart. Because see, when we were designed to be connected, we were born out of our mother's womb and we were designed to be attached to people, attached to God, attached to our mother, our father. And then at some point we're designed to separate and then leave and cleave to our spouse. And so when we can create that emotional attunement, that attachment, there's peace. Expectation and reality meet and we go, oh, this is amazing. But sometimes we have expectations or we have programs or we have things in our head from what we've been trained and reality comes here. And that gap between those two, that's anxiety and frustration and all sorts of things. So anxiety is an attachment alarm. So Lisa and Chris are feeling anxiety. I'm being told I'm bad and I'm wrong. And Lisa's like, oh my gosh, he's not listening to me, seeing me, knowing me, understanding me, and he's hurt me. And now he made a mess on my carpet last month. Okay, and so there's this anxiety because there's not that attachment and that attunement. So if you're having anxiety in a relationship, recognize there's an attachment issue. And now that attachment issue, you may not be able to attach to that person. You're trying. Maybe there's some really serious things going on. And at this time, we cannot attach here. So in that case, at that point in time, we have to go and attach ourselves to God. We need to always be attached to God. And that's a whole nother topic that we'll go into another time probably. But anxiety is that attachment alarm. That's what babies do. You put them in the crib, they're separated from mom, and they go, ah! I'm separated. And when that anxiety creeps up, they literally can drop their temperature in 30 minutes. They can drop their blood sugars. All sorts of things happen. So those are the two scenarios, the healthy relational response, where I am taking relational responsibility, knowing that all my actions can have consequences, good or bad. They could potentially help or harm or hurt the person that I'm in relationship with. And I'm going to own my side of the relationship. And that person is going to own their side of the relationship. It's like we have, a 1,000-piece puzzle and we're owning our pieces. And we're not just saying, nope, those are all your pieces. Or nope, these are all my pieces. Does that make sense? So there's that wonderful attunement that just brings peace in the relationship. So what do we do if we're like, this isn't working out well? You cannot control your spouse. You cannot teach him or her. Maybe you can. But you can choose to be a learner and a student. So when they go, ouch, that hurt, Number one, you control you. Number two, you want to be a learner and a student. Number three, they are about to give you valuable data and information that's going to go into your brain, and your brain's going to process it, translate it into what you feel is the truth. Now, that's not always going to be correct, so then we can get feedback. So it sounds like what you're saying, and I'm using this as a simplistic term as I can. It sounds like you're saying that I stepped on your foot. Is that true? Yes, you stepped on my foot and my foot hurts. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry I hurt your foot. Or I might translate it. Sounds like you're saying you think I'm a terrible person. Oh, now see, it got all mistranslated in my apps and my programs. And then they can say, no, that's exactly not what I'm saying. I was actually just saying your action had a consequence and it hurt. So all that to say, there's lots that we can do, that we can own on our side to change the dynamics of a relationship, learning healthy communication skills, remembering that relationship is about connection. If we're feeling disconnected, we need to figure out how to reconnect in healthier ways, how to communicate in healthier ways, how to listen to understand that when people are telling us things, and maybe they're saying it in anger, I just hate it when you do da 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 da. Instead of us taking it personally, we can look at it and say, they just gave me some really good information right there. Let me process that. And then let me give some feedback and see if I processed it correctly. You know, I hate it when you always leave your socks on the floor. So I'm so sorry. I did leave my socks on the floor. Why is that frustrating you so much? Because I've asked you 5 times this week to pick up your socks, and I feel like you don't even care about me. I feel like you don't even care about me. Now, that is not a feeling. She is feeling unloved. She is feeling disrespected. She is feeling, and that's again a whole nother talk that we can talk about, how to share your feelings in a healthy way so that the other person will receive your feelings and not your thoughts and judgments and opinions and then react to that. Because that causes communication like this. I'm sharing a feeling, now you're sharing a thought. I'm sharing a feeling, now you're sharing a thought. And then that second scenario, again, he stopped, he looked, and he removed his foot and adjusted a little bit, but then there was not really a repentance and an apology. It was a blame shift back of, well, if you hadn't, then I wouldn't have. Now, he wasn't necessarily wrong in that she could have had shoes on, and she's not wrong in that he could have taken his shoes off. So then what do? We go to the higher goal. Instead of who's right, who's wrong, we go to the higher goal, which is we want to be connected. There was an action that happened. It had a consequence that did cause some pain. So how can we just clean up our mess? It's that simple. So imagine I came into your living room and we're talking and I go, wow, and there's a lamp right there and it shatters into a million pieces. It's glass, and some of the pieces fly up and hit you and cut you, and you get down there to try to clean it and you're getting cut and you're getting hurt, and I'm just sitting there. And you say, Lori, good grief, you just broke my lamp. No, I didn't. I denied. No, you did. Oh, well, my hand might have hit it, but really, you shouldn't have put that lamp there. That lamp really would have looked better over there. And actually, there's a lot of other things in your room here that I would totally change. Good grief, Lori, this isn't about where the lamp is. Well, it's not my fault. Even if the manufacturer had not made it out of glass, then it wouldn't have crashed and wouldn't have broken, and then you wouldn't have gotten hurt. So I don't think I really need to clean this up, because this is your house and it's your lamp, so I think you can clean up that mess. Are you going to want to be my friend if I said that to you? No, that would be ridiculous. That's not what I would do as a friend, would it? No, but that is what we do relationally a lot of times, where we let shame speak to our value and our worth and our identity. When someone gives a statement of fact, Lori, you just broke my lamp. And instead of hearing a fact, I heard an identity statement. Lori, you are a horrible friend, and you purposely and malintendedly broke my lamp, which was my favorite, and how dare you, and now you've hurt me, and I am never going to be your friend. I mean, we could hear all that just from Lori, you broke the lamp, and it hurt me. Do you see? So I want to challenge you today in your relationships, number one, to stop when you can feel anxiety rising. Remember, that's an attachment issue. We're not connecting well right now. Okay? Feel anxiety rising, stop. Back yourself up for a second. Realize I am in control of me. I can choose to be a learner in this situation and receive really good information, be able to give some feedback to clarify and understand and make sure my translation in my brain is working right. I can choose to love. I can choose to keep my love on as Danny Silk, because my desire is connection. I can choose to know what is my property and what is not my property. Where do I start and where do I not start? And I could have every right to say, I'm not going to clean that up. I'm allergic to glass. Whatever, But how is that going to help our relationship? Is it going to help bring it further together or closer, or together or further apart? So you control you. You might need to unlearn some things to learn some things. Recognize they're giving you really good information, and it's just data. Don't take it personally, take it as data. They're giving you information about the level of relationship they desire from you, the level of relationship they can handle from you. Whether, you know, I had one friend, she was lots of fun. We could go to movies, we could laugh, we could do all these things, but she couldn't really go deep. When I tried to share deep things, she wasn't really responsible with it. And she just would overtalk me and share all about her kids and everything. And I got so hurt and I got so offended. And then I realized, you know what? She's just giving me good information as to the level of relationship she can handle. And because I value her and I still love her and I still want to be connected to her, she's going to be my fun friend. And so she was. She was my fun friend. And I didn't need to have that whole conversation with her. She just was my fun friend. I just kept receiving from her what she could give. And then I have other friends who we love to go deep. We just go deep all the time. So, you know, you can get what you need, not all from one person. That's another thing. Anyways, I could go on and on, as you can see, about healthy relationships, healthy communication. And I would love to do more and more of these videos with you to be able to help you navigate what does a healthy relationship look like? What does it feel like to me? What is a hurtful relationship that causes some disconnection, and how can we tweak things? What decisions can we make in there to change things up? For me, what can I do? Because I can't control my spouse or my husband or boyfriend or whatever, but I can control me. So what can I change that might change the dance a little bit, and then maybe they join me because I'm doing a new fun dance. You know, that's awesome. And then the third type of relationship, I'm going to say for another time, that is the really harmful relationship. And this is what burdens my heart. And I almost teared up because I've talked to so many people lately who are in very harmful relationships, and they're trying to do the good Christian thing, and they're trying to do their best, and they're trying to own their stuff, and they're trying to do things better and learn healthy communication skills, all these things. And I get it, and I felt it, and I've been there, and I understand. And so I want to be able to touch on that and help you know it's not an all or nothing thing, but there is some wisdom that you need to have in those certain situations. So if you like this, here, let me see. I don't know if anybody's been giving any comments or anything. Hey, Lori. Hey, Charles. Stacy, Rebecca. I kind of turned the comments off. And I don't know who hopped on, but if you liked it, like it, you know, share it with people. If you felt like it was helpful, let me know if you have some feedback, because I really am this next year wanting to develop some possible courses and other things, incorporating a lot of the things that I've learned over the years from a whole variety of authors, and to be able to help you guys navigate relationships well, because my desire is for us to be able to keep our love on well, to love other people well. I've taught my kids for 15 years or more that we treat everybody with love, honor, and respect, because not because that's what they deserve, but because that's who we are. We are loving, honorable, and respectful, and I control me, and you control you, and this is my boundaries. And so one time I told my son, I need you to clean your room up. He goes, Mom, I control me, you control you. And I said, you know what, bud, you are so right. But I control your PS4, and so as soon as you're done, I'll be happy to let you play it. So I don't control him. You know, you don't control your 2-year-old. You really don't. They know that they are supposed to be in control of themselves. So we want to help develop those healthy skills in our kids. We want to develop those healthy skills in ourselves and in our relationships. And I love everything from parenting all the way through marriage and relationships. I want to be able to help you. So let me know how. Let me know the questions that you have. Let me know the feedback that you have. And I will come on again sometime. It might be after Thanksgiving. We'll see. I'll come back on. I'll talk about that third type of really harmful relationship, and why maybe you're feeling what you're feeling and what you're struggling with. All right. God bless you guys. I love you tons. I'll talk to you later. Bye.